Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this edition of the Great Black Speaker Spotlight. My name is Jessica A. Walker. I'm the Community Support Manager and Digital Host here with Great Black Speakers. And today we have a special treat for you because we are celebrating our 10-year anniversary here at Great Black Speakers. And today I have the privilege as well as the honor of interviewing our founder, our president, our CEO, Lawrence Watkins. So Lawrence Watkins began Great Black Speakers, 10 years ago? And today we're going to be talking a bit about some of the changes that'll be coming to GBS, as well as some of the hurdles that Lawrence had to overcome with the Great Black Speakers platform. I also want to play you all a clip of Lawrence Watkins speaking about entrepreneurship. I think if anything, this particular session of the Great Black Speaker Spotlight is definitely highlighting and spotlighting entrepreneurship and what it means to really step out onto your own and build your own platform. So I hope you guys thoroughly enjoy the interview. We'll go ahead and get started with the small clip here of Lawrence speaking, and then we'll dive right into the interview. So as you all know, we are at greatblackspeakers.com, shaping minds one speech at a time, here with Great Black Speakers. Let's go ahead and dive right into it.
I believe that entrepreneurship is an art of self-expression. And for us to express our true selves, we need to learn how to create a masterpiece mentally while practicing our skills so that we may one day have the ability to paint our final picture. So it takes really two key things. It takes that mental preparation to be an entrepreneur, to have the entrepreneurial mindset, but it also takes the time and effort and the energy to develop those mental preparations into something actually useful to the world.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today we have an awesome speaker who is our founder. It's actually Lawrence Watkins, who is the founder and CEO of Great Black Speakers. So Lawrence, thank you so much for joining us on a Great Black Speaker Spotlight. How are you today?
I am very happy to be here today. Jessica, you've been doing an awesome job with these interviews. We're so happy to have all of our speakers who have recently joined GBS watching this video cast. But then just for all of you who are out there, thanks for watching and thanks for supporting Great Black Speakers for the last 10 years. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. So we just hit a 10-year anniversary. Woo!
I know.
We need hand clappers, right? We need some kind of hand clappers. So how are you feeling right now? Because when you first began this, I mean, what was your vision for Great Black Speakers in whole? You know, what was your vision for it? Where do you think you would have been, or what did you think you would be at 10 years? Are you where you want to be? Are you, what are you?
It's been an interesting journey. So I started the company in January of 2007. In the second bedroom of my brother's townhouse in Syracuse, New York, when he was a finance professor at Syracuse University. And it's been quite the journey, quite the ride so far. You know, I didn't know that Great Black Speakers would grow to the level that it is now. And in fact, if you were to ask me in 2005 or 2006, before I started Great Black Speakers, if this was the industry that I would have been in, I would have told you an emphatic no, because my background is in engineering. You know, I never ran a business or even really took any business school classes while I was in undergrad. So I thought I was going to be working in corporate America. And then just, you know, one thing led to another. My brother at the time, Boyce, you know, 10 years ago, his brand started to become bigger and bigger. And he asked me to turn down my corporate job offers and to help him and work with him grow his personal brand. And that's how Great Black Speakers really got started. So looking back all over these 10 years, it's been a fun ride, a fun journey. You know, I am very happy of the things that we have accomplished. However, you know, sometimes I just look back and think about some of the missed opportunities that we could have probably taken advantage of. And I'm like, you know, darn, I wish we could have, you know, taken advantage of those a little bit more than we did. But you know, all in all, it's been a great 10 years. I wouldn't trade it in for the world. And we're looking forward to what the next 10 years has to offer.
So you said a little bit about your brother voice, and you said that basically it just started with one speaker. It didn't start as a vision of being a whole board of great Black speakers. So what changed? Like where did the transition happen, or where did you say, hey, I see a need, let me bring on other speakers as well?
Yeah, it was actually Boyce's idea.
Okay.
So I just listened to, his advice at the time. And,
Mhm.
you know, in a way, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I remember being a kid in high school, having little side hustles, selling bootleg CDs on the back of the bus,
Uh-huh.
selling cheat note cards, for biology class
Mhm.
before the big test because we were allowed one note cards. So I would sell them for, $1 or $2 a pop, and mass
Wow.
produce them the night before and sold them to the entire class. And then
Mhm.
when I was young, I just had always known I wanted to be like a business owner. I didn't actually know I didn't know what they did, but I knew that's the path that I wanted to go down. So in 2006 and 2007, when I turned down my corporate job offers, which my parents weren't very happy about at the time, um, to move to Syracuse to work with boys, I just didn't know where that journey would have led me.
Mhm.
We started out with one speaker. I did really well with helping boys get different speaking engagements and different media appearances on things like CNN, Fox News, and then different
Mhm.
speaking engagements across the country. So he came to me and said, Lawrence, you're doing this for me. Why don't you start doing this for other people as well? So I said, you know what, boys, I think you're right about that. And that's how Great Black Speakers really got started in 2007. So we took, I think, $4,000 from one of the speaking engagements that boys earned, invested that money to get the website up and running, and in some initial marketing types of things. And the rest is really just history from there.
Wow. So I want to ask you this because you touched a bit on it. Did you see? So you saw a need. Did you see a need and you kind of addressed it from there, or was it more or less you were doing such a great job at it? It was just like, you know what, this is just a natural progression. Let me just see if there's other people that may be interested.
Yeah, it was more of a natural progression, and then part of it was a need based as well because working with boys, we had worked with other speakers bureaus in the industries or in the industry, and they weren't really doing a great job for boys, and it really and a part of it came out of just anger, and it was like they're not doing a good job for us. We're just gonna start our own thing.
Yeah.
Um, so luckily, I had a technology background, and my background is in systems, optimization, systems engineering, operations, and those types of things. So this was also the time that Facebook started to get started and was, gaining so much traction in the 2006, 2007 era. In the speaking industry, it was known for being a little bit antiquated. They weren't really keeping up with the times.
Okay.
So it offered the opportunity for me to come in, especially to the college market, to be more technologically savvy. I mean, offer a product and a service that really matched what the user was looking for, especially with universities.
Okay. And so with the universities and the colleges and things to that effect, did you find that they were open to having a speakers bureau that was like primarily all Black? Like, what were some of the things that you came up against having a platform that was called Great Black Speakers? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I wouldn't call it divisive, but it's a
Mhm.
product that people know what they're getting, from the name right
Yeah.
in the onset. And in fact, we really wanted to call ourselves blackspeakers.com, but that URL was already taken. So
Okay.
we just decided to add a great in front of it, which actually turned out, to be a great thing in the end
Yeah, definitely.
because we can have additional brands like Great Black Events, Great Black University,
Mhm.
and other things in the near or in the future. So I think a lot of people were very supportive of what we were, starting to do because the name said it all. In a
Yeah.
way, it has pigeonholed us. That we've had to overcome a lot in regards to showing people that we're not only good for booking for MLK Day, Black History Month, and Women's History Month, but our speakers are good to book at any time during the year as well. That's kind of where we are or where we were back then. I think over time, once they started to see the service that we provided and that type of thing, many organizations just book through us for many different events throughout the year, and we're highly appreciative of that as well.
Yeah. So what projects, that's kind of a great segue, right? So what projects and activities are you currently keeping you busy? What are you looking to move into next? What's next for Great Black Speakers?
Yeah, so Great Black Speakers is one of a few different types of companies that I own, or have some type of dealings with. A lot have to do with partnerships between me and my brother. So things like the Black Wealth Bootcamp or the Black Business School, and Financial Juneteenth. So those types of things, I work on as well. However, I made a commitment probably in about November-ish that for the next 5 or 6 months, I will be focusing on our core products, especially Great Black Speakers. And that's what I have done along with you and Early and Dorn and the rest of the GBS team, is focusing on the core product of GBS. And that's where I am right now. So improving the core product and the website experience of GBS. So we've invested a lot of time, effort, and energy in making Great Black Speakers, make sure that it has the best website in the industry. And I think right now we're definitely top 3. Probably number 2. There's one that I will not name that I think has us beat by a slight edge, but we're really coming for that number 1 spot. And that's just not African American or Black companies. That's the entire the speaking industry. So I've put a lot of effort into that. We're putting a lot of effort into online content distribution for our speakers. So videos such as this type of interview. One of my main goals over the next few months is to have at least one 20 to 30-minute interview with all of our speakers about current topics and about their story and about their mission and their vision and their values and those types of things, and share those inspirations with our audience in general via our Facebook page and our YouTube channel and through just general email marketing. What else is on my mind? One other thing in the future, the next logical progression, once I kind of get out of this moratorium of starting new things, is Great Black Events and Great Black University. So with Great Black Events, we want to take it to the next step. And instead of relying 100% on other organizations to book our speakers, we'll start having our own events like TEDx Talks and TED Talks and different conferences and retreats and large web events where you can join in via the web and hear from our speakers over a 2 or 3 day period of time. So that's what's on my mind right now. But right now, for these next, 2.5 months, we're still in this, focusing on the core product positioning and making sure that our users have the best experience using Great Black Speakers more than any other bureau that's out there.
Right. So it sounds like the customer service and delivering value to our speakers is really of great importance to you.
Yeah, the speakers and also the organizations that want to book with us. My ultimate goal with Great Black Speakers is to be able to book an event from start to finish within 24 hours. So if an organization contacts us on Tuesday, let's see, what time is it? Tuesday afternoon at 2 p.m. Have them to be able to have all the contracts signed by 2 p.m. or at least close of business day on Wednesday. So that's where we're headed, and that's where I kind of want to see take place over time.
All right, so now I want to tap into a bit of your engineering expertise, that engineer brain. So let's move out of the entrepreneur into the engineer brain. What are some of the things, just for other entrepreneurs that may be watching, other people that are just really into kind of the tech feel of the site and websites and all that good stuff and technology? What are some of the things that you've implemented, some of the software that you've implemented, or different things that you've implemented to make this smoother? Like you said, within 24 hours, you want to have the speaker booked, contract signed, so on and so forth. What are some of the things that you've put into place to make that happen?
Yeah, so one of the most recent things is our instant check availability feature. So we're going to rebrand that. We're probably going to call it like lightning response or something like that, to where we'll work with speakers who promise to us that they'll get back to the organization once they see their email. So hopefully like within an hour of opening or of the email being sent, that they can get back regarding their availabilities for different days, right? And it took me about, even though I'm not like a coder, I do know how to use different web apps and tools, especially Zapier and other things,
Yeah.
to do a lot of automation for me.
Mhm.
So it took me about 80 hours, and I set it up myself. So it took about two full weeks of work trying to get the instant, or guess the lightning response feature up and running. So that's the biggest thing that we've been working on in terms of automating the process.
Yeah.
Making sure that we continue to have a quick response time with
Mhm.
organizations as well. And that's not necessarily an engineering thing, but we found that the quicker that we're able to respond to different organizations who want to book speakers, the less likelihood that they'll go elsewhere to look.
Yeah.
So it makes a difference if you respond within 10 minutes versus an hour versus 4 or 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
Other technological things that we've been doing is just with the website flow. So we've improved our search functionality greatly on GBS. So you can search by a lot of different types of things. So you can search by even now a speaker's core purpose. So are they more of an entertainer? Are they more of an inspirer? Are they more of a teacher? Or are they more of an advocate?
Yeah.
And then we also have like speaker identities. So are they like a doctor? Are they an entrepreneur? Are they just a business and money leader? Or are they a journalist? So we've been doing a lot of effort and energy, just making our speaker profiles better, but then also categorizing our speakers better to make sure that they are easily found by the right organization at the right time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that just moving through the site and all that good stuff. And I also seen this kind of a Google-like search where if you
Yeah.
type in just one or two letters of a speaker's names, and then all of the speakers that have that same letter category kind of pop up as well. So it's really,
The autocomplete
yeah,
feature. So,
yeah, it's very, very easy to kind of just, oh, it already knows what I'm thinking.
Right, most definitely.
It's awesome. So what does Great Black Speakers mean to you? Like, why is this so important?
Great Black Speakers is important because, especially in the age of Trump, we're living in a time where how people think, the ideas that they have about the world, about different groups of people, and they just hardcore expertise on a particular subject can be lacking at times. And in the marketplace of ideas, you can have the best idea in the world, but if you can't persuade and convince and market your idea better than the next person, you will lose out. So with Great Black Speakers, we want to make sure that the best ideas come to the forefront of society. And right now that's through the booking of live events through organizations. But over time, it'll be through our own events and more just general web content sharing, and then us having our own types of online coursework and online classes that people can subscribe to. So that dissemination of ideas is really one of the cornerstones of our society. So it's so important for GBS to exist because we want to make sure that the ideas that our people who represent Black people in not just the United States but worldwide are able to share those ideas and to participate in this new global, I guess, information sharing. So that's really what GBS is. It's just an information disseminator whose goal is to deliver powerful messages to the masses, right? And we want to make sure that GBS, as well as all of the other brands that are associated with GBS, fulfill this purpose, fulfill this mission that we have set forth with.
Awesome. Now, I usually ask this question on my podcast, but I'm going to ask it here as well. And I don't ask any of the other speakers, but I'm going to ask you because you are the CEO of the speakers. So I'm going to ask you this. So you have all of this content, you have the Speakers Bureau, you have a bunch of other businesses as well that you generate content and all that good stuff. What is your thought process on how your content is changing the world?
How, you mean the content that the speakers produce or that I produce or what?
Just in all, because really truthfully, since you're kind of the foundational piece of all of this, it's kind of like you are giving people a platform. You're giving a platform to these speakers to really speak their voice and have their voice be heard. How do you feel that this is changing the world by you having all of these, having Great Black Speakers as well as Black Wealth Bootcamp, because the truth be told, without you, your brother could have probably done it, but it was both of you working together. So how do you feel about your content going out there into the world and changing the world? What effects do you think it's having out there in the world?
Yeah, I think that it's having the effect of shaping people's hearts and minds. GBS at its core is an ideological type of company to where we have this platform of Black speakers who have different ideologies, but they're definitely ideologies that have been vetted by us, and that we feel that should be shared with the world, whether I or anyone on the team agrees personally with those ideologies or not, right? So being an ideological type of company, that's different than focusing straight on finance or money or other types of military power or something like that. If you're able to shape the beliefs and thoughts of individuals and of people, you can literally shape an entire country and an entire world, right? So I don't look at Great Black Speakers as like a speakers bureau per se. One is a technology company masquerading as a speakers bureau because we invest so much time and effort and energy on the technology that we use. But then at an even broader scale, I recognize that we have the power to shape the ideologies of the community, to make our community stronger so we can compete, not just during the age of Trump, but we can compete for generations to come so that our grandchildren will be proud of what we've built in the early 2000s or the early 2000s. So yeah,
definitely. That's awesome. I love that. So it's definitely about impacting generations and making sure that everyone has a platform to speak from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we hope to grow that, and not just in-person speaking engagements, but through all forms of media and all forms of content.
So I want to ask you one more personal question, really fast. So I understand you're a speaker as well, or you used to be a speaker, right?
A little bit. Yeah, I spoke a little in the past.
Yeah, so tell me, what's your most memorable speaking experience?
Oh, that's easy. My most memorable speaking experience was when I was a student at Cornell getting my MBA, and I was asked to speak at an entrepreneurship program at Auburn Correctional Facility, which was like the maximum security prison in upstate New York. And most of the people in there were Black, unfortunately, but the level of knowledge that they were seeking was at such a high level. It really inspired me, and it made me sad at the same time because they had all this knowledge and this attention, and they really wanted to improve their lives. But some of them will be locked up in there, for the next 20 years or to life, right? So, their gift to the world won't be able to be shared because of mistakes that they made probably in their youth, or some of them committed murder, some of them were just selling drugs and still being there for a long time to come. So a lot of that has shaped me in terms of the way that I think, in terms of making sure that I take advantage of all of the opportunities that I can to make the world a better place than that I left it. Because a lot of people, even though they have made mistakes and they're definitely victims to their crimes a lot of times, they can't do that. And Auburn really pushed that home for me when I did that engagement back in like 2009 or so.
Wow. So it really wasn't something that necessarily happened there. It was just more or less the feeling and the experience itself.
Yeah, most definitely. But that was definitely the most powerful engagement that I've done.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I thought that was going to go completely a different way. Pretty deep. It's pretty deep.
Yeah.
So what are some of the hurdles that you had to overcome to get to where you are today?
Hurdles. There's always hurdles. There's so many.
It's like there's always hurdles.
Yeah. There's so many hurdles that happen every day now. There's always a new hurdle. It's really a never-ending push towards growth and being excellent at what it is that you do. So in the hurdles in the early stages, we're getting our first group of speakers. Making sure that the lights could stay on, so we had enough money to support Great Black Speakers in the beginning.
Yeah.
Middle hurdles is once we reach, 100 speakers, how do we get to 200 speakers?
Yeah.
Or once we started working with 30 organizations, how do we start working with 100 organizations? There's just always hurdles that exist with GBS. And it's just always usually has to do with either money or personnel or just finding out a new and improved solution to uh, like a challenge, right? So you have these challenges, and it's always whether it's through just throwing more money at the problem. If you don't have more money, just coming up with some type of innovative solution to make that problem go away. And that's just the way that business has always been. So I don't even look at challenges. I mean, there's still challenges. It's just they've always existed. So that's what makes the job fun. But then that's what also makes the job stressful at times as well.
Yeah. So what would you tell someone that wanted to follow along in your footsteps? What would you tell them about going into either entrepreneurship or just going after their dreams and living out what it is their destiny or their purpose for their lives? What would you tell them?
I would say start young. So I started entrepreneurship when I was 22 years old. And then, if you can't start young and you may be a little older and have children or have a family or a husband or a wife or whatever, make sure that you start saving your money so you have a security net, a cushion, so you can get out here and really, push forward towards your goals and expectations. I would also say, for me, it was, I would say do a lot of learning. So if you learn by doing, so that's great. So just get out there and start just pushing forward. If you learn by reading, make sure that you read a lot. If you learn by talking to people, make sure you talk to a lot of different people about what it's like to start a company. And then preferably you'll do all of those different types of things and just continue to gain that knowledge and expertise and move up that learning curve so that you can be an expert in your field and, hopefully one day be able to attract the right opportunities to you. I would also say don't be afraid and be bold. And that's something I even think about now. Although I don't agree with President Trump, it's kind of inspiring in the way. So he's someone who just didn't care, right? In the sense that it didn't matter that he didn't have any political experience. It didn't matter that he just never really done anything other than to be a celebrity. Um, he thought he could be president of the United States. And then he convinced another 100 million people or 80 million, however many people voted for them. Yeah, he could be president of the United States, and now he's president of the United States.
Yeah.
And I look at that in terms of my goals, for this year, in the sense that, there's nothing that I can't accomplish. If Donald Trump can be president of the United States, I can at least, get this new speaker that I wanted to get or work with this organization that I wanted to work with. And I think all new entrepreneurs, we often remove ourselves from opportunities just because of fear. And I think that, that's one of the biggest pieces of advice that I have is let other people tell you no. Don't you tell yourself no because you don't think that you're worthy.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I love the fact that you broke it down to different ways that people can learn as well, instead of just saying, oh yeah, just do it this one way. That's the only way you can learn. No, there's so many different ways that you can actually learn and take in information. That's wonderful. All right, so that is the end of our interview for now.
All right.
What would you like to leave our audience with? Is there anything else that I didn't touch on possibly that you want us to talk about?
No. If you're looking for a speaker, make sure that you check out Great Black Speakers. So that's greatblackspeakers.com. We're available to you all day long. So if you just submit a contact request form on our website or give us a call, we'll be happy to help you out. If you are a speaker, we moved to only enrolling new speakers during certain times of the year. So the next time, so we're recording this in January. So the next time will be probably around summer. So be on the lookout for that. And, coming on board Great Black Speakers, we're always looking for the next best talent so that we can, work with to help them grow their brands as well. So thanks for all of the support over the last 10 years, and we hope to be working with you for many more decades to come.